Alright, yesterday I attempted to do a live stream where I wanted to talk about how I really appreciate the working conditions of my new job and how I had a lot of trouble at a previous job. Right now I'm in a park in Bellevue, Washington, and I really enjoy spending time with myself. My colleagues, some of them are married and in a relationship, and that's fine. That's fine with me. What's not fine with me is people who think that kind of lifestyle is superior to my kind of enjoyment of life. That's what I find not fine. But I don't think that really applies where I'm working right now. Certainly, I haven't seen that happen. At my last job, first of all, I started it in a big hurry because I had applied for that job in early 2021. And we all know the state of the world at that time. So my boss told me that he'll let me know. He likes my application. He likes my resume. He just can't really commit to anything because of all that was going on, which was understandable, by the way. But I checked up with him in June, in June of 2021, just before Omicron or Delta. And he told me he wasn't sure yet. He'll let me know in August. He'll let me know. And then I get a very frantic phone call from him. He asked me if I could start on Tuesday. It was a Friday that the phone had rang. He said he needed somebody every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and if I wanted, I could start on Tuesday. I was living in Phoenix, Arizona at the time. He might not have known that, but he called me on a Friday. I said, actually, I work remotely now, but I'm living in Phoenix, Arizona. If you want, I could start remotely, and then next Tuesday I might be able to come home. I think I said something to that effect. And he told me that he would need to hire somebody else if he did that. He asked me what I wanted to do. And I thought, you know what? We've been through so much with COVID. I'll do this for you. And I'm thinking to myself, it will make myself look good. After all, I do want to make a good first impression, right? And so I started on that Tuesday. And you guys remember my trip home, right? It was hell. I mean, I try to enjoy it as much as I can because that's the kind of person I am. I remember visiting the Great Salt Lake. I remember, I took a stop in Ellensburg to view something in the night sky. It's on the way. And to give you an idea of how rushed that trip was, I then stopped in, there's a truck stop between Ellensburg and Seattle where I did some laundry and I took a shower and I drove straight to the tutoring center on Tuesday afternoon. And I thought for sure I was a mess. And somehow I got through that day, and my boss said everything looks very good, good job and all that. Thank you for making it on such short notice. And so I quickly eased into it, but it became very apparent that he started out very nice like that, but it quickly slid, right? He started to cancel shifts, rearrange things, asked me to come last minute, and gave me a lot of pressure. And I think part of that, he didn't say it out loud, obviously, but I think part of that was he assumed that out of the whole team, we have 5-6 tutors, out of the whole team, I'm the one who can absorb it because I'm single, I don't have somebody to care for. If I lose like 2 hours of work, so what? He doesn't need to go to Ellensburg every weekend, right? Or so what if he falls behind on his bills? It's not like his kids are going to starve or not be able to get a ride to school, or he doesn't have like an elderly family member. It's not like somebody's going to be kicked out of a nursing home because he loses 2 hours of work. I bet that's what my boss subconsciously thinks, right? He probably doesn't verbalize it to himself. He certainly doesn't say it out loud, but there's this implicit thought process, right? I didn't get that at my new workplace. I finally kind of let my boss know that I'm single by heart today, and it went very well. More importantly, I haven't noticed the slide, right? I mean, it didn't start out like that. It slid, right? When he was asking me if I could come home from Phoenix in 3 days, he certainly didn't tell me, to go fuck yourself because you're single. He certainly didn't let that out, right? And it got worse and worse, actually. I think part of the reason it got worse and worse is because I tolerated it for so long. And I've learned not to do that. So my first upsetting situation was during the Thanksgiving week. Actually, I had another upsetting situation before that. I love to do intermittent fasting. And sometimes I'll do it to celebrate or commemorate a certain event. And I was commemorating the birthday of Evelina Falenta. She turned 42 last year. And so I did a 42-hour fast in commemoration of her. Now, I wanted to share with I had to, because, in a very social environment, it's really hard to share the fact that you're not eating, right? So I just said, it's a 42-hour fast for, and I explained to them who Evelina Falenta was. And my boss just gave me a stink eye. Like, he gave me the impression, like, why are you celebrating some celebrity when you should kind of be out there and meeting somebody? You know what's really funny? She is a Facebook friend of mine. There's nothing to say that there's no potential of us someday being together. Right? The probability might be low, right? But, he gave me a stink eye for that. Okay, that's very minor. At least it didn't affect my work. But then on Thanksgiving, so Thanksgiving week, all of my colleagues checked out. I had one colleague who went home to extended family members. Others just wanted to take it easy. You gotta understand, I work with some college students who are only working part-time. They need to study for exams. All of that is fine. Don't get me wrong. I love it that people are taking time to see their families and to study their exams. Very good, very good. The problem is people don't recognize that my desires are true as well, right? Just like somebody wants to see an extended family member, I'd love to do things that I like to do, right? I love to write computer games. And coming out here is also very important to me as well. Just like somebody might go on a date with somebody else. I don't see why the difference there. I really don't. Actually, I had a friend of mine who was very upset that I think that way. He thinks that it's our obligation to reproduce, right? I wonder what he thinks about LGBTQ. Anyway, so I was the only one there Thanksgiving week, the whole week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, actually the previous Saturday, and then a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Wednesday, which was Thanksgiving Eve, I had a 4-hour shift. And the first couple of hours were just hell. It was only my boss and I there. We must have had 10, 12 students. I think here in Washington State, they take a very important exam not long after the Thanksgiving holiday. I can't remember what it was, but you gotta understand, the kids who would show up on a Thanksgiving week, they have big ambitions, right? Your typical troublemakers who just want to go to the center to scream, we got a couple of those, unfortunately. They're not going to come Thanksgiving week. I have a funny story about one of our troublemaker kids. He's just a lot of trouble. When he's there, nobody can really study, right? He causes a lot of distraction, talks a lot, complains a lot about various things. And we at the center, we like to offer rewards and prizes, and he's always trying to cheat, how many points he has, and steal our rewards. And at first I kind of let it slide, but it got to ridiculous proportions how he was doing this. And one day I told him, because we had put him into he has some ADHD, so we decided to put some furniture around to make it less enticing to him to get distracted. And one of the pieces of furniture had a hole in it, and he decided to stick his head into that hole. And when he did that, he almost got his head stuck in there, and it looked like he was going to choke. And so the next day I told him, don't you dare stick your head into the hole in the furniture. If you do, I'm going to take away all your reward points, because I knew that's what he cared about. And he went the whole class without doing it. And then he started to ask me, well, what if I stick my head in the furniture? I said, you know what's going to happen. And so I turned away to talk to another student, and when I looked back, his head was in the hole of the furniture, and he almost got stuck in the furniture again. And I took his reward sheet and I ripped it into shreds, and he screamed, and you get the idea, right? That's not the kind of kid who's going to show up on Thanksgiving Eve. But I had a heck of a time because we had 10, 12 students. The third hour of the 4-hour shift was not nearly as dramatic, and then the fourth hour, this was 6, 7 p.m., we had like one student, and you gotta understand, the student who would show up at 6 p.m. on a Thanksgiving Eve, I'll let you think about what kind of student that is. And I sat down, and it had been 5-10 minutes in. My boss says, okay, you can go. And I'm thinking to myself, really? On a Thanksgiving Eve, when I could have started my vacation, I came here, and you're gonna kick me out on the last hour of this when I'm working with my favorite student? I'm thinking, really? I mean, even if I still got paid for that hour, I would still be pretty upset because I put off going on vacation until the following day. I wanted to go to Ellensburg. And, okay, so I packed up and I left, and I'm thinking, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is he going to pay me for this hour? Because I did stick around. I mean, I did tell him that. I did ask him, like, when do we get off of work during the Thanksgiving holiday? And he knows that I put aside that day. So I get my paycheck at the end of November, and he doesn't pay me that hour. And I'm so upset. And I think he made a poor business decision because he saved $19, but just the loss of productivity from me being upset at that for months and months after that. I mean, I'm recording this in July 2022, and I can still vividly remember what happened in November. So we're talking at least 7-8 months of me being down from that. How much money do you think he has lost in potential sales? And it is a very poor business model altogether. All because he thinks that I'm solosexual, don't have anybody to take care of, and nobody's gonna be evicted from a place because of, at least no kids are gonna be evicted from a place just because I lost an hour. And that's the kind of mentality he's working with, right? He's not verbalizing it out. He probably doesn't even know that's what he's thinking, right? He's been married for, actually, he's from another country where the marriage rate is probably a lot younger, right? He probably got married when he was a teenager, if I were to guess, right? His kids are in romantic relationships. They all have similar religion. Unfortunately, the other employees he hired has similar family and religious backgrounds as himself. And then the last straw was that I had a coworker who's much younger than me, like she could be my daughter, and she has inappropriate feelings for me. And I think she has been sabotaging my work because I'm not responding to her. I mean, she could be my daughter. And the worst thing is, if I complain about it, it's gonna be like, it's gonna look like it's the other way around, right? That I'm trying to hit on her, right? I can't even complain about it. I can just kind of pretend to act like I'm cool with it. And meanwhile, every time I look at the schedule and I see we have different hours, I just breathe a huge sigh of relief. I have a shift from 3 to 7, and 3 to 4 she's not there, and then all of a sudden 4 o'clock she shows there, and all of a sudden it's just a huge downer. And I can't work in an environment where I feel like that. On top of all the harassment that's already existing with my boss treating me like a piece of property, and then to see her and just get a surge of anger when she walks in the door at 4:30, and anyway, A B C D E F, my previous job, is how I feel about it. That's what I was trying to say in my live feed yesterday, but unfortunately YouTube froze on me. A B C D E F, my previous job. Thanks for watching.